All right, great to see everybody. Go ahead and come to a nice comfortable seat in your chair. You can scoot forward a little bit so you're really sitting down into your sit bones, using like a little subtle core to sit nice and tall. And let's give the shoulders a little roll out. Now you can roll them forward a few times as well. Good, and then let's roll back again. And then allowing those shoulder blades to release down your back. You can take your hands on your thighs. Before we sit quietly, let's actually do a little cat-cow first today. So as you inhale, you can rock forward, arching in the lumbar. And then exhale, you move in the opposite direction, chin towards chest. Inhaling through your nose, arching. Exhaling, rounding in. And let's just do several more rounds like this. You can close your eyes. You can be doing Ujjayi breath here if that feels okay today. And so right away, it's like your breath is your metronome here. And you might find that moving with your breath like this, finding this sense of rhythm in the body has this calming quality, this meditative quality. Yeah, so do a few more rounds here like this. Maybe you start to make the movement a little bit smaller, so it's like a little mini cat-cow. And that movement is almost imperceptible until you're finally coming up to your nice tall Tadasana, your seated mountain pose. And though we're not moving here, maybe you can still kind of feel a little sense of that rhythm in your body. Maybe it's a little easier to drop into a place of stillness here as you follow your breath, that inhale through the nose, that exhale through the nose. With each inhale, you're growing your spine a little taller. You're lengthening through the sides of your waist. With each exhale, you're breathing down into your sit bones, down into your feet, so you're feeling more rooted, more grounded. Do a quick little body scan. Make sure that you're not gripping or holding anywhere. So it's amazing how limbs, body parts will start to hold on or grip or help out a little bit, almost without us even being aware that it's happening. If you have any of those places of tension, just go ahead and soften and release. And then you can keep your eyes closed here, but again, just being really, really small to start. Let's just start finding those little Sufi rolls. And you're moving in one direction, and eventually your circles start to get a little bigger. You can involve the upper body as much as feels good, the head, the neck, the shoulders. And then again, so we're going to keep going in the same direction, but start to make those circles a little bit smaller. So that shifting from sit bone to sit bone is almost imperceptible until you're pressing into both evenly. And then same thing, start small, but start making those circles in the opposite direction. And then they gradually get bigger. You're just kind of observing how this movement feels, especially in your lower back, the outer hips. Actually, really throughout the spine. And then again, you can start to make these circles gradually smaller and smaller. You're just kind of being really mindful with this movement, just paying attention to the subtleties. Then again, you find that place of stillness, you're rooting into both sit bones. Maybe you still have a little sense of that rhythm, that motion, that movement in your body, but you're sitting here quietly, you're sitting here nice and tall. Good. And then, so from here, you can keep your eyes closed still if that feels good. If it feels better to open them, you can go ahead and blink them open. But let's go ahead and start to exhale, drop our chin towards our chest. So we're trying to find space and length in the back of the neck. This doesn't have to be particularly deep, especially this first one. A lot of tension in the neck. It works hard relative to its kind of smaller muscles relative to what it's holding up. The shoulders love to get involved here and creep up around the ears, so you're being mindful to keep them releasing down. And then let's inhale, lift our chin parallel to the floor, and then exhale. Drop that right ear towards your right shoulder. Again, it might not go very deep. You can visualize your exhale going to that left side of your neck where you're feeling that intense stretch on those scalene muscles. And then stay here, right ear leaning towards right shoulder, but start to tuck the chin towards your chest a little. And then keep your chin tucked, but make that little quarter turn back to the center. And find that idea of shoulder blades releasing down your back. We hang out here again for a few breaths. A second time here. Does it feel a little different yet? Is it still tight? Just noticing, getting curious. And then as you inhale, lift your chin parallel to the floor. Exhale. Drop your left ear towards your left shoulder so you begin to feel some intensity in that right side of your neck. How does it compare to the first side? Are the shoulders kind of joining the party here? And then chin stays tucked. Come back to center. So chin is releasing towards your chest. You're feeling that stretch in the back of your neck, upper shoulders, the trapezius. And then let's keep the chin tucked here. Good. Start to make that quarter turn. Once again, you can take several breaths to get there. There's going to be some places that feel a little intense, a little juicy. Hang out in those spots. Keep the breath moving. If you'd like to release your left fingertips towards the floor, that might intensify things. So we're using the arm as a little counterweight. Of course, if it feels like too much, you don't do it. For a few breaths, if you'd like to extend, so kind of reaching that left arm up and out at the same time, it's going to get into some really interesting spots in the back of the shoulder, the armpit area. Good. Release that left arm down. If you took that variation, hand comes back to thigh. Start to make that quarter turn back to center, hanging out there. A few breaths, chin towards chest, lengthening the back of the neck. Breathing, sending your exhale to the spots that are tight, that are gripping, that won't let go. And then again, just taking your time to get there. The chin stays tucked. You start to roll your left ear in the direction of your left shoulder. And you're going to find places that are a little tenuous. You're going to hang out there. You're going to breathe there. This might be plenty. This might be plenty on this side. So always remembering that side to side, we're different. Things don't have to look exactly the same. If you would like to play with releasing your right fingertips down towards the floor, you're welcome to do so. You can always try it out. If it feels like too much, you don't do it. You can bring your left hand, your right hand rather, back to your thigh. Keep the chin tucked. And then just start to roll back to the center. Few breaths. Are things feeling a little easier in the back of your neck? Is there a greater sense of ease, of lengthening, of release? If the answer is no, that's also okay. Good. As you inhale, lift your chin parallel to the floor. Release both hands down. And then let's scrunch the shoulders up around the ears. So you're creating some tension, and then let it go. A few times like that. Let's do 2 more. And releasing down. Let's move into some sun salutes here. So if you have blocks, these are great on the outer edges of your feet as a prop. If you don't have them, no big deal. Let's do a little reassessment of our mountain pose. Just make sure that things are still aligned. So legs are about hips distance apart. Your knees are landing over your ankles. You're pressing evenly into the 4 corners of your feet. You're rooting into your sit bones. Shoulders are stacking over your hips. You're lengthening through both sides of your waist. You can release your arms down. As you inhale, let's reach out and up for this first one. Take up lots of space. And actually, let's just hang out here for a few breaths. Imagine that somebody is gently grabbing your wrists and just tractioning you up towards the ceiling. Can you still find a little feeling of your shoulder blades releasing down your back and squeezing in towards each other? Another deep inhale, maybe gaze up, maybe press your palms together. And then as we exhale, option to swan dive in. If it feels more stable, you could also take your hands to your thighs and roll on down. Your chin is going to roll in towards your chest, so you're rounding in the thoracic, your upper spine. Imagine that there is a weight attached to your head, so it's gently pulling you towards the floor. Your breath is smooth and steady. As you inhale, this is where you might press your hands into your blocks, and it's great because you have different heights. So you're lengthening through the sides of your waist. You could also have your hands either on your shins or your thighs. And this is kind of like a little seated cobra pose. So feel the elbows squeeze in. Feel this lift of your sternum up towards the ceiling. Gaze is soft and gentle in front of you. Breath is smooth and steady. Deep inhale here. As we exhale, we fold back in. Perhaps it feels a little deeper this time. Perhaps you're getting more release in the back of your neck. And then from here, again, options. You can use your hands up, you roll on up. You want to use a little core, a little outer hip strength. You can take the arms out wide, reach up overhead. You're just hanging out here for a few breaths, lengthening as much as you can. So rooting into your sit bones, rooting into your feet, but then countering that by stretching through your fingertips. And then as we exhale, let's just take the arms out wide. Flowing that all together this time. So 1 movement per breath. Inhale, take up space. Reaching up, maybe gazing up and pressing palms. As you exhale, you hinge forward at your waist. You fold into your Uttanasana. Inhale, you extend into your half forward fold, your Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, back into Uttanasana you go. And then again, lots of ways that you could navigate coming up. So you pick the one that feels best for you, best for your body in this moment. And then exhale, we release the hands. So you've got 3 more of these on your own. You're flowing with your breath, speeding things up if you're feeling a little lethargic, slowing things down if you're feeling a little anxious, if there's a lot of stuff on the to-do list that might be stressing you out a little bit. So we're kind of using the breath as a tool to modulate, energetically how we're feeling. Letting these feel really good in your body, really graceful and smooth and steady. Finding spaciousness, finding a sense of ease. I'm just enjoying the pace that you're moving at, so there's no sense of rushing. And when you're done with your 3rd round, just pause with your palms together at your heart center. So sitting in this mountain pose, gaze inward, taking stock of how you're feeling, how the body is shifting, how the head space is shifting. How your breath has shifted. Is it getting a little steadier, a little richer? All right, so from here, let's blink our eyes open. We're going to come into a hip opener. Option 1 would be to simply find a little external rotation. It's like a warrior 2 leg with your right leg. And then option 2 would be to take your right ankle above that left knee. They're both good. They're both doing similar things. And just taking about 7 or 8 breaths just in this basic shape. If you've got that warrior 2 leg, you might be pressing your right hand back into that thigh to help you find a little more hip opening. This version that I'm doing, you might use the strength of your arm to gently press that thigh down towards the floor. And of course, if the hips are feeling really tight, or the glutes, you do a little less of that. As long as you're feeling some kind of stretch, you're where you need to be. From here, let's release our arms down by our sides. We're going to inhale, take the arms out to shoulder height. Deep inhale here. As you exhale, a little twist to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, a little twist to the left. Inhale to center. And then exhale, let's twist to the right. Take a deep inhale here. Then exhale, wrap a little more. You can release your left hand anywhere on your shin, your thigh. If you're in those warrior two legs, it might even be somewhere on that left thigh. Can you find a little sensation of cobra pose in the thoracic, even as you're twisting those left ribs to the right. And what's going on with your breath? Have you started to hold it? Make sure that it's moving. All right, let's take a deep inhale here. Let's start to unwind and let's cross the right arm on top. Give ourselves a hug. So elbow stacking, you can grab the outer shoulders. And then inhale, lift the arms. So we're not going for the cat-cow so much as we are just giving the shoulders a little floss out. So as you release, exhale, they release down. Inhale, you lift any amount. And if you're tighter in the shoulders or bulkier in the shoulders, exhale, releasing down. It's going to be a little harder, especially on that lift. Inhaling, lifting. Good, exhale, release. Let's do two more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, shoulders release. Inhale, lift here. Good, and let's stay here for a couple of breaths. So as those elbows lift, you press into your sit bones, you feel your shoulder blades squeeze in towards each other. And then you can inhale, take the arms up and out. Beautiful. And then from here, let's start to hinge forward, take a forward fold. So you might keep your hands on your thighs, and that's true, whatever variation you're in. If the hips are a little more limber in your body, hands in front of you on blocks can be really nice. You could also use a table or a desk or a wall in front of you. And just notice how when we introduce a forward fold into this hip situation, it definitely, you're going to feel a deeper stretch. So you're in charge of that. You back out if you need to. You might not even be forward folding. That's okay. Can you send your exhale to that outer right hip glute area, inviting it to create a little space in your body, a little ease. Okay, let's inhale, slowly roll on up. All right, so we're going to come back to center. And before we do that on our second side, let's just do a little side-to-side stretching intermission. So find your nice Tadasana, knees over ankles, releasing your arms down. Feel those sit bones really pressing. And then inhale, let's take the left arm up and over, leaning to the right. Ooh, it feels so good. Exhale, you release that arm down. Inhaling right arm. Good, exhale. And then just continuing like this. Perhaps again, you close your eyes. So you find this idea of flow, this idea of rhythm, of moving meditation, which can always feel really nice when we've done some more static poses, some more long held poses. And of course, they're both really good to do. Beautiful. Let's do a few more to each side. So we've done a lot to kind of warm up the spine in our cat-cows, but this is another way to get into it. So this side stretching bends it in a different way. Beautiful work. So you'll finish up on that left side, leaning off to the left side. You'll come up to center. And then we'll set up for our second side. So again, a couple of options. We're looking for the hip opening. So that might be more of a warrior two leg. If you're doing this variation, doesn't matter how wide you open up that leg, as long as you're feeling a little in stretch. And then the other option would be to cross your left ankle above your right knee. So if you're in this variation here and you feel like you need a little more juice, you can just use the strength of your arm to kind of press that knee back towards the wall behind you. Conversely, if you're in the seated pigeon pose, you're giving a little weight so that the thigh is releasing down towards the floor. And you're getting curious about how this side might feel different in your body. You're listening to that sound of your breath. Beautiful. Okay, so wherever you're at, just go ahead and release the hands down by your sides. Inhale, take the arms out wide, still feeling those shoulder blades plugging in towards each other. As you exhale, twist left. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, back to center. And then exhale, twist left. Deep inhale here, reach through your fingertips. And then release hands down. So again, depending upon the shape that you're in, this right hand could press against a lot of different places. You're kind of trying to find a little leverage so you can find that feeling of cobra pose in the upper body, even as you're wrapping those right ribs to the left. You're moving towards bringing your gaze out over that left shoulder, whether or not that, we get there, that doesn't matter so much. Couple more good breaths here. As you exhale, start to unwind your upper body. Give yourself that hug. This time the left elbow, arm is on top. So the elbows stack. And again, we're keeping the spine nice and long here, but as we inhale, elbows lift. And then as we exhale, they drop towards the belly button. Inhaling 2. Exhale. Inhale 3. Exhale. Inhale 4. Exhale, release. And then inhale 5. You just hang out here for a few breaths. Then we're going to inhale, stretch the arms up and out. And we're going to come into a forward fold. So it need not be deep. You can rest your hands on your thighs. hands on a table in front of you, a wall in front of you. Blocks are wonderful. And feel free to let your chin gently release towards your chest. So again, you're finding that lengthening in the back of the neck. And then nice and slow, again, you can just start to roll on up. Beautiful work, everybody. Let's find our just classic Tadasana mountain pose again. Let's revisit this side-to-side lateral stretching, but we'll do some holds here this time. So to mix it up, let's inhale, take the right arm, up and over to the left we go. Exhale, release down. And then inhaling to the right we go. Exhale. Good, moving with your breath, just a few rounds here. It feels really fluid and graceful. You're like a weeping willow. We're going to call it a weeping willow that is weeping tears of joy. We don't want no sad willows right now, unless you're sad and you need a good cry. All right, so the next time that we're leaning off to the left, let's hang out there. Notice if your right sit bone's getting a little light. Imagine that there's like a sandbag resting on your thigh, so anchoring you down a little bit. You might have to back out of the pose. Can you start to spin these left ribs up? And then if you want a little core intensification here, maybe you start to reach that left arm out. Imagine that you're holding a beach ball, and then maybe you find a little more length through the right side. So you're not side bending so much, but you're getting that oblique action. Hold on to all of that as you make your way up to center. And then we exhale. Side bend to the right. Holding this for a few breaths. Anchor into that left sit bone. Feel that groundedness. And then let's do it before we lift the arm this time. So you're kind of trying to find a little more length through this right side. Ooh, and then you stretch that arm out. It's like a little side crunch. It's kind of cruel that I'm doing this to you. But you're on Zoom, so you can skip it if you want. All right, think outer hip squeezing in. Think back core work to come up to center. Really nice. Release the arms down. Just find your Tadasana, your mountain pose, hands resting on your thighs. Allow your eyelids to close. Couple of breaths here. All right, so we've done our external hips with a little twist and forward fold. So let's kind of explore that same theme, but with more of a neutral pose. So a crescent pose. So we're going to keep the right knee bent. And of course, you could keep both knees bent. That's also absolutely fine. But option to extend your left leg forward. So kind of our setup for our crescent pose or a warrior one. Release your arms down by your sides. Let's inhale, take the arms out and up. Good. And then maybe bring your gaze up, feel that lift of your sternum up towards the ceiling. So exploring the full expression of your crescent. And then exhale, take the arms out wide. Nice deep inhale here. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist right. Reach through your fingertips. And then release your hands down. So left hand comes somewhere on either thigh, really. But again, you're just finding a little leverage. You're wrapping your left ribs to the right, and think a little bit of that oblique action to help you find it. And then let's keep our upper body in this twist, so you keep firming into that left hand. Reach your right hand back, so palm faces up towards the ceiling. And then we find that side bending action. So this is like a little reverse crescent pose. Left rib spiral up towards the ceiling. And then maybe start to extend, lengthen through the left side waist if you want. Reach that arm up. So this is like a little crunch with a twist. And then start to square your torso to face forward. And then you can hinge forward. And hands anywhere on your thighs, on a blocks or a desk or a chair. You might be feeling a really intense hamstring stretch here in that extended left leg. Can always bend the knee a little bit if it's too intense, or back out of the forward fold a bit. Can start to allow your chin to drop towards your chest. And think of the spine more as rounding here. Belly button pulls to your back ribs. So you're generating this movement from the bottom of your spine up. Begin to roll up like a little rag doll. So the head is the last thing to come up. Beautiful work. And then you can bend that left knee if you took that variation, and then right leg might extend straight. Again, it doesn't matter side to side if the poses look exactly the same. We have always got different things going on, so we modify, we adjust. Release your arms by your sides. We find our classic crescent pose first. So inhale, arms reach out and up. Imagine somebody is holding your wrist, tractioning you up towards the ceiling, even as you anchor down into your sit bones. Feel that lift of your sternum as you gaze up. Maybe you press your palms. How much space can you find in this crescent pose? How much strength can you find in this crescent pose? So muscle is firming to bone throughout your body. Good. Exhale, take the arms out wide. Nice deep inhale here. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, center. And then we exhale, twisting to the left. Take a deep inhale. And then as you exhale, release, hands down. Find a little leverage, especially with that right hand. Leg and hand pressed against each other to help you wrap those right ribs to the left. Finding a little of that oblique action, so those muscles on your side waist working to help you find this twisting action. Breath smooth and steady. And then we're going to keep our upper body in this twist. You're going to reach your left hand back, palm can face up towards the ceiling. Ooh, and then you find that little weeping willow action, that little side stretch, but it's got a little twist here. So those right ribs are wrapping up towards the ceiling, even as you're finding all of that extension through the left side of your waist, which feels so good. And then I want you to lose a little of that. So you start to lengthen the right side. Ooh. Reach that right arm forward if you choose to play this little sneaky core game. And then start to come upright and take your forward fold on this right side. So feeling all of that stretch in your hamstring, glute, maybe the calf, the Achilles, if you have that right leg extended. And then chin starts to drop towards chest, belly button pulls towards your back ribs. So you're finding that sensation of rounding is that cat stretch in the lower body, the lower spine. And then beginning there, you start to roll on up. The vertebrae begin to stack on top of each other. The head stacks on top of the spine. Lovely. And then you bend that right knee if that leg was extended. And I have lost all sense of time today, so we're going to go ahead and move right into some form of shavasana, some kind of resting pose. So you might just stay exactly where you're at, closing your eyes, watching your breath. And if you do have like a breathwork practice here that you'd like to do, you're welcome to do so. Otherwise, you're just inviting in this sense of surrender, this sense of stillness. So this sense of shavasana, even though we're not in that classic shape. Of course, you're always welcome to lay down on the floor if that's available. You're welcome to take another little forward fold supported with a chair or a desk. Find stillness. Give yourself permission not to worry about anything just yet. Shavasana. All right, so let your next inhale be deeper. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. Start to bring a little movement back to your body. So, circling ankles, wrists, wiggling fingers, toes. Stretching out. And then go ahead and bring your palms in a pile on top of your heart. Send yourself love and gratitude for showing up, for working hard. Send your body love and gratitude. It's a gift to be able to work like this and move like this. We send each other love and gratitude for the community we've created, for the support we give each other. Just promise yourself you're going to carry this good feeling with you into the rest of the day ahead. And finally, just bow your head with a smile. Beautiful work today, everybody. Thank you. And I've got some gnarly tickle in my throat.